Federation celebrates the World Heart Day on 29th of September every year. This is to bring awareness among people to the killer of humanity. Almost 17.9 million lives are lost to cardiovascular diseases and stroke. The lifestyle changes, alcohol abuse, smoking, and lack of physical exercises are major causes of heart diseases. The theme of this series: use heart to beat cardiovascular diseases. In the time of COVID, taking care of your heart is more important than lives. Gentlemen, we urge everyone to take care of your health, have regular checkups, and then take care of your heart. Thank you.
On behalf of the Indian Doctors Club Qatar, a warm welcome to all of you and greetings to all of you. As you all know, 29th of September is celebrated every year as the World Heart Day. On this occasion, my main message to you will be to maintain an active lifestyle. And this is the best way to keep in check all the risk factors for heart disease, such as smoking, hypertension, diabetes, and high cholesterol. On this occasion, we have three of our well-known cardiologists who will be talking to you and who will deliver their messages. I would like to reiterate that Indian Doctors Club Qatar will always be there to support the public in terms of our various community services and social welfare activities. Thank you.
Greetings everyone. On behalf of on the joyous occasion of the World Heart Day, the message that I have to share with everyone is be stress free. Now that sounds like a challenge, and people say that we are humans. How can we be free of stress? Stress is good in one aspect where it helps us to overcome certain challenges, and it improves us. But what I am trying to convey here is about negative stress. What we should avoid getting into is getting stressed for the wrong reasons. Now, if we were to analyze what stress is, it's actually a feeling. And behind every feeling is a thought process. And why a thought process comes to be is because of the lens with which we see the world. And that in fact is our operating system. So if you have got a defect operating system, then that results in a defective way of thinking or a negative way of thinking, and resulting into an unproductive way of feeling, which is negative stress. And if we try to think about what formed our operating system, it is actually the exposure that we got right from childhood to this point. What we saw, what we heard, what we blessed with our mouth, and that's the exposure that we have. So if you try to put things in perspective, our exposure results in our operating system. Our operating system results in the way we feel. The way we feel results in certain behaviors, and a collection of a behavior is our lifestyle. So if we want to change our lifestyle, we want to change the way we expose or how we expose ourselves to things. So if we get this process understood, then we know at each level we can break it so that we don't become stressful. Let's begin with the exposure. Now, it's not practical way of living to close our eyes, to shut our ears and seal our mouths and walk. So what we can do in that situation is have a filter system. That is, you have a set of principles which will not allow the negative things to be planted into our head. What we plant is what we grow. If you plant weeds, only weeds will grow. If you plant an apple seed, an apple tree will grow. So have a filter system that will not allow negative things to come into your brain. Now, suppose you are watching a TV and you have got a set of principles. If what you are watching does not agree with a set of principles, get up and walk. There is no other way to apply the filter. You just have to break that level of exposure. The next thing is the lens system with which you view the world. And the lens system with which you view the world is what's going to help you handle an interpersonal situation or a circumstantial situation. Now, the two things that I would like to advise to have a good lens system to view the world is, number one, to treat the other person exactly the way like you would want to be treated. Now, that will take care of all interpersonal relationship. Before you utter a word to that person, put yourself in that person's shoes. Would it be fair if you heard the same thing to yourself? If you are going to tell in your mind that no, I wouldn't want to hear it, then you don't say it yourself. As far as circumstances are concerned, you need to be anchored on something solid, which is the grace of God. If you look at all your past experiences, was it ever our smartness that pulled out to us through a crisis? No, it was always the grace of God. So if it has worked for us once, why will it not work for us in this current dire circumstances? So if you anchor yourself on these two things, which is a love for another person and on the grace of God, your operating system will function perfectly. Next thing is, when something becomes a thought, how do you arrest it? Well, you can never stop a thought with another thought. What you have to arrest a thought is with a word, a powerful, positive word. And remember that words are expressed thoughts. So whenever a negative thought comes to attack us, we need to say something positive to get it captured. And this is what you call as thought capturing. Right? So once you have understood these techniques, whenever you are in a process of stress, you will be able to break it. Now, imagine that you have become a stressful person by nature. Then you need to rely on prayer and meditation. That's the kind of situation where you go in and tell Almighty, all my ways have failed. I need you to change me. And what you will see is, and there is no explanation as far as the medical school teaching is concerned, but when you pray and when you meditate, the person you are changes. So when your lifestyle changes, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, the way you think changes, and what you practice change, and your habits change. So this is the way with which, if you are changed by the Almighty, then whatever circumstances come, you are always strong and confident. The other way, how we train ourselves, what we practice becomes a habit, what becomes a habit becomes a behavior becomes a lifestyle. Sometimes when we are facing a tough situation, we may shake. But when the Almighty changes you, it's for the permanent, and you're going to be strong to face any challenges. So if you have understood all these things, then the next most important thing is to practice it. It is said that there are 3 levels. One is information. When you have information, you get knowledge. When you get the mechanisms behind it, you get the understanding. The third part is more important. That is wisdom. Wisdom is you being able to apply this so that it could be beneficial for you. So I pray that on this World Heart Day, that you will all have the wisdom to handle stress. God bless, take care, and have a pleasant, joyful, and peaceful life. See you all.
September 29th of this month is celebrated as World Heart Day, and I'm supposed to speak on healthy heart diet. Although you might know that eating certain foods can increase your heart disease risk, changing your eating habit is often tough. Once you know which food to eat more and which food to limit, you are on your way towards a healthy heart diet. First and foremost thing is control your portion of food what you are taking. How much you eat is just as important as what you eat. Overloading your plate, taking seconds, and eating until you feel stuffed can lead to eating more calories than you should. So, what are the steps which can help you to prevent that? One is use a small plate or bowl to help control your portions. Eat more low calorie, nutrient rich food such as fruits and vegetables. Eat smaller amount of high calorie, high sodium food such as refined, processed or fast food. Eating more fruits and vegetables is always a good choice because it contains lot of vitamins and minerals, and also it is low in calorie and rich in dietary fiber. Vegetables and fruits like other plant or plant-based diet contain substances that may help prevent cardiovascular disease. Eating more fruits and vegetables may help you to cut back on high calories sources of food such as meat, cheese, and snack food. Select whole grains, which is also very important. Whole grains are good sources of fiber and other nutrients that play a role in regulating blood pressure and heart health. You may increase the amount of whole grain in a heart healthy diet by making simple substitution for refined grain products. For example, whole wheat flour can be used for white refined flour. Whole grain bread, preferably 100%, can be used by you can substitute it for white bread. And whole grain pasta, oatmeal, all these are very helpful. Always think about limiting unhealthy fat, which is the fourth step. Limiting how much saturated and trans fat you eat is an important step to reduce blood cholesterol, which is one of the reasons for coronary artery disease. A high blood cholesterol can cause plaque formation in the arteries, which can lead to heart attack and stroke. So, always the guideline is to keep the saturated fat less than 6% and to avoid trans fat. What are the fats which you can choose? One is olive oil, canola oil, vegetable and nut oil. We can take nuts, seeds, avocados, and avoid butter, lard, bacon fat, gravy, non-dairy creamers, like that. When you use fat, choose monounsaturated fats such as olive oil or canola oil. Polyunsaturated fat, which is found in certain fish, avocados, nuts, and seeds, are very good source of heart healthy diet. When used in place of saturated fat, monounsaturated as well as polyunsaturated fats help to lower blood cholesterol. Omega-3 fatty acid is very important to reduce triglyceride levels, and it is found in fish like herring, salmon, and mackerel. Now the next step, the fifth one, is choosing low fat protein sources. Lean meat, poultry, and fish, low fat dairy products, and eggs are some of your best source of proteins. Choose lower fat options such as skinless chicken breast rather than fried chicken patties, and skim milk rather than the whole milk. Fish, as I told you earlier, is a good alternative to high fat meals. Certain type of fish, as I discussed earlier, are very good contents of omega-3 fatty acid, which helps to lower the triglycerides. So what are the proteins to choose? Low fat dairy products such as skim or low fat milk, yogurt and cheese, egg, fish, skinless poultry, legumes, and avoid full fat milk, organ meat such as liver, fatty and marbled meat, bacon, fried or breaded meat. Now another most important point, the sixth point, is reduce the salt in your food. This is a very important point because eating too much salt can lead to high blood pressure, which is a risk factor for heart disease. Limiting salt is an important part of a heart healthy diet. Ideally, the healthy adult should not have more than 2.3 grams of sodium a day. That is nearly a tablespoon of salt. Most adults ideally have no more than 1.5 gram of sodium in a daytime. Now another most important point, the sixth point, is reduce the salt in your food. This is a very important point because eating too much salt can lead to high blood pressure, which is a risk factor for heart disease. Limiting salt is an important part of a heart healthy diet. Ideally, the healthy adult should not have more than 2.3 grams of sodium a day. That is nearly a tablespoon of salt. Most adults ideally have no more than 1.5 gram of sodium in a daytime. So these are some of the techniques by which we can definitely reach our goal of a heart healthy diet. But another two more points which I'll mainly suggest is these all require a plan. And it's very important that you plan your weekly menu as per what you should eat and what you should not eat. At the same time, the most important is we may not be able to follow all this for a long period of time. So always in between, suppose you want to have a cheat diet, maybe like suppose a little potato wafers on an occasion may not be a bad idea, or a chocolate or a candy is not a bad idea on an occasion. These are some of the doable things which you can follow so that you can reach your heart healthy goal of heart healthy diet and keep your heart healthy. Along with this, another most important thing is doing regular exercise for at least 30 minutes per day over a week will also be an added advantage. Thank you all.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Saber. I'm one of the cardiologists at Heart Hospital, Hamad Medical Corporation here in Qatar. It's indeed my honor and privilege to represent Indian Doctors Club on the occasion of the World Heart Day 2021. In the next 5-6 minutes, I will try to discuss about a topic on this very important day, about the importance of taking care of your heart in one aspect of the life which you actually spend a lot of time and in fact but you don't give much attention to. We all see a lot of patients in our clinic. We see them, we ask their the questions about the history, their complaints. We do investigations and we find the diagnosis and we treat them. And obviously we would advise them to have lifestyle changes like exercise, eat healthy. We don't really forget about talking about all these things, but how often do we actually ask about their sleeping pattern, their sleep hygiene, how many hours they sleep? It's very important, and it's very important to understand that it's not only exercise and eating healthy what matters to the heart. So in my talk, I would just briefly mention what's the importance of sleep and how it actually impacts on your health, in your heart health, and what is the study evidences that we have. And so in my talk, I would just briefly mention what's the importance of sleep and how it actually impacts on your health, in your heart health, and what is the study evidences that we have and what we can do to correct it. So if you look at the literature, if we would find that what's the importance of sleep? There are multiple theories. Sleep is to restore, we can actually say that sleep is to restore your energy. It's to clear your metabolites and waste from your body and give your brain plasticity or recovery time. So basically, you would obviously have noticed that when you wake up early after a good night's sleep, you feel fresh and refreshed, and you're pretty much happy to go for the next day. So that's how it happens. And at the same time, if you didn't have a good sleep, you had inadequate sleep, you would not be able to focus on your work, you would lose your concentration. So that's very obvious that you might have lost something by losing your time on the bed. And the second thing, we would also know that when you don't sleep well, it impacts on your metabolism. How does it impact? It has direct relation to hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which actually controls your appetite and losing your time on the bed. And the second thing, we would also know that when you don't sleep well, it impacts on your metabolism. How does it impact? It has direct relation to hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which actually controls your appetite and metabolism. So in fact, even if you exercise and eat healthy, if you don't sleep well, you actually in fact gain weight. You'll sleep less, and you're very low in your energy, and you don't exercise, and at the same time you gain weight, and you end up having cardiovascular problems. You become obese, and you are further in a cycle, like you're not able to exercise any further. It's also seen from studies that sleeping less increases the insulin, end up having diabetes. We all know that some people at work are very much stressed, or they are having a lot of psychological trauma in their life, so they sleep less. So it could be the other way as well. People are found to have low sleep because of stress, or at the same time they sleep less, so they are a lot more stressed at work. And we have seen that evidences are very clear coming from the studies of epidemiological studies, that people who sleep less than 6 hours, they are at a higher chance of almost 20 to 30% higher chance of developing hypertension, high blood pressure. And now we know that there's a chance of obesity, there's a chance of high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases among that, and diabetes to be developed when you don't sleep well. So what is the ideal time that you should sleep? So studies have shown that people who sleep less than 6 hours, they have a higher chance of heart diseases and their chance of death from any cause. And also seen, very interesting, is that when you sleep more than 9 hours, so your chance of having stroke is also high. So it's a U-shaped curve where actually you can't sleep a lot more than what is required, or a lot lesser. So American Sleep Society has recommended an adult age of 18 to 20, or a lot lesser. So American Sleep Society has recommended an adult age of 18 to 60. They should sleep for roughly around 7 to 9 hours per night. And what you can do is that, first thing is, you have to realize if you have a sleeping problem. So you have to keep a sleep diary. So you have to understand what time you went to bed, what time you woke up for so many days, so that you understand how many hours are you sleeping. Technically, are you sleeping 6 or 8 or 10? And you have to correct that. You should have a sleep hygiene, in the sense that you go to bed every day at the same time, even the weekends, and wake up every day at the same time, even the weekends. People tend to ignore the weekends, but you have to take care of weekends as well. And there are so many things like sleep stealers. They steal your sleep, like the television, like the mobile phones, or any electronic gadgets. You just use them on your bed, or when you're about to sleep. Don't use them, because they actually take away your sleeping time. And the most important thing, some people, they think that myth is that you eat a lot or you drink a lot of alcohol, you get a lot of sleep. No, that's not the correct way. You sleep, if you need to have a good sleep, you need to also limit your alcohol, and even the caffeine. Some of the caffeines that you even take in the afternoon really impact on your sleep. So if you notice that, you have to reduce your caffeine intake. Even if you need to have a good sleep, you need to also limit your alcohol, and even the caffeine. Some of the caffeines that you even take in the afternoon really impact on your sleep. So if you notice that, you have to reduce your caffeine intake. Even too much food as well doesn't do good. So make sure that me and you from now understood the importance of sleep, how it impacts on your body, and during the sleep the sympathetic activity is higher, so your blood pressure doesn't drop because you're sleeping less. It has to drop normally. Your heart rate doesn't drop. It has to drop normally in your sleep. And if you sleep less, you don't give your blood pressure and heart rate enough chance to drop. So now be aware that you have to take care of your heart, not just from exercise and eating healthy, and make sure that it is very important that you take care of the most important aspect of your life, which is almost 1/3 of your time you spend every day, which is sleeping. And I would recommend that me and you from now onwards make sure we sleep at least 7, preferably 8 hours every day, and make sure that we keep our heart healthy. Thank you so much.